So I just beat Lies of P, and I wanted to share with you guys the technique build that I was using to do it because I feel like it is incredible. It does a lot of damage and has two weapon options for you. One is incredibly fast and the other is slow, but it will do a lot more damage. I'm going to go over all of my amulets and my defense parts and also the Legion arm that I am using. I'm not going to show you where to get every single thing in this video for this build, but if you have questions, leave it down in the comments below and I'll try to do my best to let you know where they're at. So let's get into it. Overall, I felt like this build was a really quality build. You have a great amount of health, you have some really high damage, and you're also going to have some good stamina for dodging if you don't have your perfect parries down. The amulets that I'm going to be using for this particular build are going to be the Blue Guardianship Amulet. This is going to increase your max amount of HP, stamina, and your Legion that you have, so it's overall a great quality of life talisman, and it's going to help us overall be a well-rounded build. The next one is going to be the Carrier's Amulet, and this is going to increase our weight limit. We are equipping 2 weapons at a time here, so this is really going to help us do that without any problem, as well as give us a medium roll, because any heavier than that, you're not going to be moving well at all. In our third amulet slot, we are going to be using the Technique Amulet, which is going to give us +4 technique, which is going to translate in giving us more damage. We are a technique build, and our damage is typically going to rise with the amount of technique that we have, which is why this amulet comes in clutch. And in our last amulet slot, we are going to be using the Leaping Amulet. This is going to increase our max stamina. I do a fair amount of dodging coming from Dark Souls games and Elden Ring games. I'm still working on my perfect parries, so this was a great crutch for me and allowed the build to feel like it moved fluid at the same time as being able to dodge and get out of the way when I needed to. Now for my Legion arm, it just made sense to use the puppet string because I wanted to keep this build pretty mobile. This allowed me to get from point A to point B incredibly quick, especially when there are multiple enemies next to each other, and having every single ability unlocked on this Legion arm also made it to where the damage went way up. The technique scaling on it is an A, which is phenomenal because obviously we are a technique build, so that's going to work out for us. And I personally think this is one of the better Legion arms in the entire game. I used a few of the other ones throughout my playthrough, but this one just felt good. Now, as far as the weapons go for this build, I'm using 2 different weapons, but each one of those weapons is assembled from other weapons. So, for example, for our first slot, we are using the Salamander Dagger Blade, but the City Long Spear handle. This is going to provide an incredibly deadly spear combination that also has the ability to ignite and set your enemies on fire. Flame damage does an immense amount of damage to anything flesh related in this game, and considering there are a good amount of flesh enemies, this weapon is incredible. It has a technique scaling in A, and it's also going to have a slash and stab attack type, and I think this is so much fun to use. It doesn't look like it has that much physical attack, but because it's a spear and a dagger, it is going to attack really fast, allowing you to whittle your enemies down very quick. You will need to use a technique crank to get it all the way up to A, but that can be bought in the game relatively early, so you shouldn't have a problem with it. Now for my second weapon, it actually was the weapon that I pretty much started with throughout the game, and that was the Booster Glaive Blade and Handle. This weapon is an absolute powerhouse, but I wanted it to attack a little bit faster and have a little bit different moveset, so I put the Dancer's Curved Sword handle on it, and it is perfect for what I need it to be. It has very quick attacks, it does a lot of damage with a physical attack at 245 plus 146, and it's going to have a technique scaling of A, which obviously because of our build is going to be great, and its Fable Arts, Storm Slash, and Guard Parry are amazing. Guard Parry is going to allow you to retaliate quickly and pour a ton of damage back on the enemy, and Storm Slash is going to be your big heavy hitter that's typically going to allow you to stagger bosses in order to get your charged R2 off, which is going to be a double slash, damaging them even further. I absolutely love this weapon. It is a great weapon, and if you want to know how to get these weapons for yourself, I will discuss where to get them at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Now, as far as our defense parts, I went with everything that gave me the most physical damage negation that I currently had within the game. So, in slot number 1, we're using the Lada F350 frame, giving us a physical damage reduction of 37.11. The Belford Superior Insulation Converter is going to be giving us a 2.28 physical damage reduction, as well as a ton of other resistance and damage reductions to different elements within the game. Then we're using the Arch Disrupting Cartridge in our slot number 3. This is going to give us a physical damage reduction of 2.39 plus some resistances to shock, break, and disruption. And then in our 4th slot, we're using the Belford Fiber Reinforced Liner. This is pretty situational, and you can kind of put whatever you want here in this slot depending on what kind of enemy you're going up against, but I have slash, strike, and pierce damage reduction rates at different levels on this particular piece. Now, as far as the stats you're going to need for this particular build, I went with Vitality, Vigor, and Technique. Those were my main ones, and you are going to want to choose Path of the Bastard Dexterity, which I did not, which is why I have a little bit of motivity here. I originally wanted to do a quality build, but very quickly fell in love with Technique, so I started leveling that. But my Vitality is 27, my Vigor is 20, and my Technique is 39. The way you want to level these up is you want to to get vitality all the way to 20 right away. Then you can start leveling your technique, and you can sprinkle in a little bit of vigor here and there as you need it, because as you go on in this game, you are going to need to run farther, and you're going to need to dodge, and your stamina is going to take a hit if you don't start leveling that. I will say that after 35 technique, your damage starts to fall off drastically, so it's almost not worth leveling it up after that, especially if you're only in the first game. But if you go into New Game Plus, definitely start pouring more into technique, because you're going to need the extra damage. Now, I realized I was about to tell you where exactly you need to go to get each one of these weapons, but I actually can't get back there because I just started New Game Plus. So I have a YouTube short that I'm going to link down in the description. It's 1 minute long. If you want to go check that out to see exactly how you get each one of these weapons, you are more than welcome to do so, and I'll leave it down there for you. Once again, my apologies. I just went right into New Game Plus because I was super excited to make more builds. And guys, that's going to be it for this particular technique build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, things that you would add, questions that you have. I'd love to talk to you guys more about it. I absolutely love talking to you guys in the comments. It's one of my favorite things about making YouTube videos. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can know when I'm making more content. I would appreciate it a ton. We're going to have more Lies of P builds coming out here in the next few weeks. So with that being said, thank you so much, and until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.